So one of the problems is that the gel coat seems to have been worn away or just oxidized off along this edge of the boat where the color part is. First step I'm going to do is to use some 220 grit sandpaper, and I like these foam blocks because they can bend to fit the hull. And I'm going to sand down through the gel coat and try and get all this loose, flaky part off. See a few spots up here where the gel coat's gone just a little bit. That's good. Acetone right before I'm going to run a piece of blue tape along this edge to protect this part. I don't want to drip anything on there, but I'm not going to tape off the rest of the hull. I'll be blending this out. Look at my tape. I'm going to take it inside because the gel coat I use sets up in UV light, so I want to work in. I'm going to be rubbing this down with a very light brush of acetone. Always use a rubber glove. Acetone is a bad chemical. Get on your skin, it's absorbed. So I'm just removing the dust. I'll be using the Sun Cure Dingall Sun Cure from surfsource.net. Got it at a surf shop. Comes in a little kit. Pour it into a little container that I can use to brush out onto the surface. I just use one of these cheap brushes, and I'll be looking at the light reflecting on the surface as I paint it on in order to make sure I'm covering it well. Get it thick enough so that it can be glossy, and thick enough I can sand some off. Now, I have the boat fairly level, just a slight slope in the direction of the seam so that the resin will build up a little bit there. I'm just going to put a bead along the edge. Now this will start setting up in UV light, and there's a little bit coming in through the door. I take the same brush with just a little bit of acetone. Try to get it off the brush, and then I want to feather this edge a bit. It's looking a little lumpy down here where the gel is starting to set from the UV light coming in the door. Just feathering this edge a little tiny bit. Don't put too much acetone on there or it will keep it from setting up. Just feather the edge down the way. Now we take it outside. It's a little bit cold outside, so I'm going to set it in full sun. I'll leave it 15 to 20 minutes. I don't know if you can see the sun glare on that. That helps you to see that it's shiny now. It looks relatively smooth. There's some rough spots, but we'll be sanding that out anyway. So lightly sanding with the 220. I'm going to line this edge first. Just taking down the big bumps. Corner a little. That was 220, this is 320. Extra fine. This is 400 wet or dry. I'm going with wet. The wet keeps the sandpaper from clogging. Now I go to 1200 wet and dry. This is really more like polishing than sanding. Pretty good. Polishing compound, electric drill with a buffing pad. And I start by just taking a little bit of it, put it onto my pad. Now I'm going to take one small area that I can move back and forth in very easily and just do that one section and then move on. I'll start with this section here. I'm just going to spread the compound along, and then I will go ahead and buff it out. And this doesn't take long. As you proceed, you apply lighter and lighter pressure, and look for the shine as you work. You can see the reflection. Finished product, all shiny, glassy. Just needs a coat of wax to finish it off. Materials: 220 grit sanding paper, rubber sanding block, it's flexible, masking tape, rubber glove, acetone, Sun Cure ultra clear sanding resin, which I get at the local surf shop. Small bottle comes in this kit, which contains fiberglass cloth, all kinds of other things, some mixing sticks. You'll need a small brush and a little container to put the resin in, several finer grits of sanding paper when you're finished curing the resin, a buffing pad on a drill, and some polishing compound, and finally some car wax.